Mike King says.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say yeah. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make 'em say that.
Hi, this is Sylvia Farbstein, and I am on the air with Mike King. He is widening the lens of humanity, and I'm so happy to be a part of his journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mike. Mike, it is the premier business radio program. This is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1 every day from 5 to 7 a.m. The Choice 105.3 Gospel every day from 2 to 3, as well as International Business Growth Radio. That is the Mike King Biz Radio Network. I'd like to thank our sponsors, advertisers who are out there. You'll hear during the program. Alrighty, so we are here. Sometimes I always say cool people know cool people. And all of a sudden, good friend Sherry Cerny, who was out there, Minnesota sports gal. She is out there and she's doing great work down in the Tri-Cities regarding baseball. She's a baseball fanatic too. I love baseball, but she takes it to another level.
She does.
And I see her website and I see her social media game and I'm like, whoa, man, that's fire. And so she said, you got to talk to my friend. Friend, welcome to the program. It's a business show. Tell folks who you are and what you do.
Hello, everybody. My name is LaToshia Branding, and I do branding for businesses.
You do branding for businesses,
Yeah.
okay? And you got a story. Okay, so you are, shout out to Uncle Sam at that military. That's a dating service too, the Army.
It is a dating
Yes,
service.
I know. I found mine there
Mhm,
40
mhm.
years ago. All right, so you got a military history past, husband's in now, serving currently, and you figured out you were good at this branding, social media game.
Yes, I did.
Okay, tell your story.
Well, I graduated from Fayetteville State University.
Shout out
Fayetteville
there.
State.
Yeah, shout out there on the Merc. Big things happen.
After I graduated there, I knew I wanted to do something in business, but I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do at that time. I knew marketing wasn't my thing. I knew I definitely didn't want to do sales. But as I started helping my friends with businesses and just local businesses in the area, I found out that branding was my thing. Like I really help businesses build their foundation so that they can present themselves in a way that's compelling and unique to others.
So what was the aha moment when you realized, okay, I could do a business. This could be a business.
Actually, it was my husband. So he was like, boo, you already do all this stuff. Like, why don't you make it into a business? And at first I was like, I don't think so. And he was like, no, you're really good at it. I think you should branch out and really try to do this on your own. And that's why I started the business.
And when did you know you had something?
As I started helping people, I started seeing like light bulbs. I love when I'm teaching someone
And
and I
also you
start
see the
seeing
light
the
come
light
on.
bulbs, and I'm like, this is it. I know I got something now. Now people are really starting to understand like the importance of branding and what it is to build a really, really good brand that stands for something.
So you talk to when you see a good number of people, what are brands or people missing when it comes to the whole aspect of branding and marketing?
For branding, I noticed that especially with small businesses, because I work mostly with small businesses, they're missing that foundation. So I call it the brand core. It's your mission, your vision, and your core values. And most businesses don't really have that solidified to know that, oh, I need this stuff in order to be able to explain to others what my business is really about. So for me, when I go into businesses, that's the first thing I ask them. Hey, let me see your mission, your vision, and your core values. And if they don't have one, we start right there to work with them on that so that they can really start to understand how they want to represent themselves and present themselves to others.
Ma'am, on a percentage of 0 to 100, how many folks have those three? Are we at 50%?
Of small businesses?
Nah.
No, we're not.
And when they don't have that, you explain to them, how do you explain to them that those things are important?
I go in and I'm like, hey, listen, this is the foundation. You don't know where you're going if you don't have a vision set. It's just like telling your family. It's like if you're going on a road trip, but you don't have the end, you don't know what the end goal is. So that mission, that vision, and that core values help to solidify like where you're going at in the end goal. So no matter what you do, you can always turn back and say, okay, I want to do this, but does it align with my mission, my vision, and my core values? And if it doesn't, then that's maybe something that you shouldn't do for your business. But if it does, then that's something you should probably look into.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, her work is good. Her work is good. How can people find you out there?
Okay, you can go to my website at www.questbusinessconsultant.net. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Quest Business Consultant.
So you're doing all this as former military and now military spouse.
Yes.
Which is, Uncle said, we did a thing recently that said, how many times have you moved? And, some people 3, 4, this person said they moved like 10 times. We moved 22 times.
Wow.
Yeah. And you're doing all of this knowing that the time that you're gonna have here is gonna be limited, but you become part of the community here helping. What is it? Talked a little bit about incorporating business into military spouse life, and what did you learn from the Army when you were on active duty that helps you in business?
One, discipline.
Yeah.
The discipline is very important.
Shout out to Fort Leonard right off the bat.
Yes.
Yeah, shout out to Fort Leonard without there.
Yeah, and Fort Sam too. He gave me my AIT training.
I had more fun than discipline there.
That's true.
I had a lot of fun down at Fort Sam. Shout out to San Antonio. Never looked at that city the same way after that.
You can't.
No.
You can't.
That's a little slice of heaven out down there. All right, I'm off track.
Yes, but it definitely taught me discipline and integrity. Like those Army values, you take wherever you go. Like punctuality. Like I love being on time.
Yeah, you were not on time.
Yes. I'm like, it's a thing. It's a thing for me. I'm like, okay, I say this time because I like to make sure everything is set up, everything is together. I got everything, and I'm not wasting your time. So in order to make sure I don't waste your time, I want to make sure that I make the most of our time, especially if I'm doing something like a 1-hour consultant. I'm going to give you what you paid for, and you're going to get a lot in that 1 hour.
So what does the engagement with Tasha look like?
The engagement looks like people contact me, set up a consultation. When we set up the consultation, the first meeting, I would preferably like someone to bring their mission, their vision, and their core values. But if they don't have that,
I don't think they're gonna have it.
That's okay, because we work on that first meeting, and that's really the foundation of the first meeting, is really trying to get all that stuff together. Now, once we get that stuff together, we move into more things, but we start there.
Okay, how long does a typical engagement with you last?
Depends on the client.
Okay, and do you have entrepreneurs, solopreneurs? Besides the core values, the 3 things that are missing, what are some of the common mistakes that you see out there right now? And when you look at a person's social media again, you just shake your head and go,
The biggest problem that I see with small businesses is they try to scale too quickly. They try to grow too quickly.
That's called getting excited.
Yes, that is yes. A lot of entrepreneurs, they get too excited and they try to scale too quickly, and it's like, you don't have the systems and processes in place. So when you scale, how are you going to support this scale? What are you going? What you going to do? What you going to do? And a lot of people don't understand that it's okay to want more clients. It's okay to want to make more money. It's okay to do all those things, but you have to have systems and processes in place to be able to support that.
That is one thing. I remember talking to a person about hustling, and everybody hustling. And the man told me, you can only hustle to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have processes in place so everything isn't a one-off.
Exactly.
I mean, a one-off is supposed to be a one-off. It's not supposed to be standard operating procedure.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Okay, so when you're out there you work with bigger groups, smaller organizations, and the engagement period lasts for however long. Do you work with people continuously? So you do social media updates and.
So I don't do social media updates. Me as a brand manager, what I do is if my client is posting something on Facebook, I tell them, hey, run it by me so that we make sure that it's on brand, it's on target with your brand. If you're putting something out in a magazine post, if you are going on an interview, I'll coach you through how you're supposed to introduce and talk about your business in the interview, because we want to make sure that everything is aligning with your brand. So I can do brand management, which that's a monthly fee, or we can do a package where we really work on building your brand so that by the end we're done with that, you can go out and you should have a clear picture on how you want to present yourself to others. and how you want others to see you.
Is there a difference between, say, service industry and professional? Like if you have a brick and mortar store as opposed to a person who does not, maybe are there differences in social media strategies?
There are, because brick and mortar, someone's coming to a physical location, so you have that time to interact with them. You can make it more personal, so you can really suck people in better when you have a brick and mortar. Online, it's about really tapping into the emotions of someone. So it's just about, tweaking your wording and things on how to tap into people's emotions so that they feel like they're having that one-on-one engagement with you.
What are some of the brands out there that when you look, you say, wow, that brand is good, and then you look at some other brands and you kind of wonder how they make it?
So the best brand that I like to use in this is Band-Aid.
Band-Aid?
Band-Aid, and this is why. You can buy any bandage. It don't have to be an actual Band-Aid brand, but what do you call it?
It's a Band-Aid.
Exactly.
And we grew up calling stuff Reynolds wrap.
But
I didn't know it was, oh, that's aluminum foil. We just called it.
Exactly. So you associate everything of that product with that brand. That's perfect branding.
Because what else is it if it's not Band-Aid?
Exactly.
I don't know. And then
It's just a regular bandage.
It's a bandage
from another company, but we don't call it that. We call it a Band-Aid, which is a brand in itself. That's why I say that's the first.
I hadn't thought about that one, because you kind of wonder what else is there if it's not Band-Aid. And how if you okay, so now, man, you're a sharp one. I come up with the bandage. How do I combat? And I come to market. How do I come with something and what everybody calls this product my competitor?
Your competitor is huge. Okay, that's just what it is. And the only way that you can fight that is to make yourself unique. The issue that businesses have is they look at other people and they're like, ooh, I want to be like that person. Ooh, I want to be like that person. I want to do it like that person. No, do it like you. Be unique, be different. Don't be afraid to do something different, because that thing that you have is different is what's going to draw people to you.
So, ma'am, you sound like the voice of reason. And as entrepreneurs, sometimes people don't want to hear the voice of reason.
That's true.
That is true. And so, like you said, let's go back to that scaling thing again.
Okay.
You got excited, and all of a sudden, how does the conversation go when you tell me, Mike, pump the brakes a little bit?
I usually go in and it sounds something like this. Hey, so
so it's bedside manner.
It's bedside manner.
Okay.
It's bedside. It's
Let me
bedside
hear
manner. I try to talk to people, nice and smooth. I'm casual. I read the room because I know when someone wants to hear something and when it doesn't. So
and you know it because you see me out there mashing on that gas, like, yeah, I'm getting good. Mike is getting carried away.
Yes, and I've seen it, and I'm like, I just need you to just pull it in just a little bit. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. So it usually goes off. I'm like, hey. So one of the first questions I ask is, hey, what are you trying to do with their business? And it'll go with something like this: I just want more clients.
That's it.
And my response is, what does that mean?
It's clear. I want more clients.
I want more clients.
More clients mean more money.
And it's like, so that way I can hire more people and I can do more things. And it's like, what?
You clearly didn't think through this.
Well, how good are your services? Well, how are your employees that you have now? Like, how are they doing? How do they receive like the customers and everything that's going on? Like, what does your internal structure look like? You won't do all this, but how what's the health of your company now?
Now, ma'am, what's the face looking like now?
And now it's like that deer in the headlights look. Like, what you mean? And the thing about it, entrepreneurs can be very sensitive about their business, and they don't want to be told like, hey, you're not doing this the proper way. So they get really defensive.
Yes.
So I'm like, hey, you can take the advice or you don't. That's up to you. I'm not going to force you to take advice. You can take it or you don't. I'm just trying to lead you in the right direction so that you can be successful in the future.
Because so I've done a good number of work with restaurants as one. A person in every business thinks that their business is unique. There's no other business like mine. I'm like, listen, I don't care if you have an Indian restaurant and we put a French chef in there. He's gonna figure it out. You know what? You know what? And he's gonna be able to work their way around that kitchen. So it's not as unique, but when you put all of your time, effort out, because before I came here, I was a salesman,
Mhm.
and the salesman's kind of like an entrepreneur, but somebody writes you a check, and at the end of the week, you don't have all the other things on the backside and underneath making it work. And
Mhm.
so for you to talk to me about, hey, you need to ease up off the gas because all I see is a win. Another client, another client. I'm not looking at all the logistics
Mhm.
of making that happen.
Mhm.
So when you're saying all those things affect your brand,
Mhm.
and sometimes they affect your brand in a negative way,
Mhm.
people start looking at you like,
Mhm. So say for instance, the biggest thing is restaurants. They start off good. The food is good, the service is good, everything is good. But then people start hearing about the restaurant. And so people start coming in. And now the quality of food starts lacking. All of a sudden the service starts lacking. Everything starts lacking. It's like, what? Well, why is that? Did you not prepare for this on the front end? You couldn't have. Because if you did, then this wouldn't be an issue. So now your brand is suffering. And now what was once rave reviews is now bad reviews. And it's why? Because you didn't prepare properly. That could have been solved easy
that
on the
could have
back
been
end.
rarely, but I didn't think about that
Mhm.
because a lot of times business owners know what they know. We're too busy putting out fires. You don't see down the road, you think you do,
Mhm.
or that thing over there. One of the things that a friend of mine always says is, wherever you're at, there's somebody. It's not the how can you fix this problem. It's like who can you talk to? Because there's
Yes.
somebody who's been down that road.
Yes.
You're saying yes.
I love that because I always tell business owners, use someone else to do the things that you can't do. You are not all knowing. You don't know everything. It's okay to seek help from other people. That's the point. Businesses should collaborate, especially small businesses. Why are we fighting?
That is true.
Collaborate with each other. That way we can all be in this together. We can help each other out.
All right, Tasha's here with us. And how can people find you?
Once again, you can find me at my website at www.questbusinessconsulting.net or on Instagram and Facebook at Quest Business Consulting.
All righty, so there's a thing called scope creep. Now you do brand management.
Mhm.
Can you help me with? And then you do a little one time here, and then another person says, "Can you help me with this?" How do you stay on focus that I'm not okay? Well, I do that, but I also can start doing social media, and then over here I can start doing a little bit. Now all of a sudden you're doing all these things as opposed to your core competency.
Oh, that goes back to your mission, your vision, and your core
All those
values.
things that I didn't have when I showed up.
When you showed up, knowing what you're good at. Me personally, I can do marketing, but do I like doing marketing? Am I extremely good at it? No. What I'm good at is branding. So that's what I focus on. I can give you advice in other areas, but my key thing is branding. And so I know that's where I lock in and that's where I sit in. Finding your key thing and really locking in on that is best. And if you want to scale or move or bring or add another service to your business, add someone who's knowledgeable in that. That way it doesn't hurt your reputation. Because at the end of the day, that's really what's important is your reputation. Your reputation, your brand is your reputation. So that's what I
So
would
when
say.
the business how long you been in business?
Me, well, I just started this business officially. So it's only been officially running for a year.
How long you been in business doing before your husband told you should make this a business?
I was doing it for about 4 years before he said, "Hey, I think you should actually make this a business."
And so business owners, you made a dream come true. And so you moved around, and sometimes a person says, I moved around, I can't get established, all those things. Talk to our listeners about making dreams come true and making something out of nothing, like something could be because I can't do this, I can't do that.
You definitely can. Trust me, I had a million excuses. Oh, the kids are still young. Oh, we're moving to a new place. Oh, well, what about this? What about that? How am I going to get clients? All that stuff will come in time, but you have to move. Nothing's going to happen if you don't take that step forward. It's just going to be an idea. It's just going to be excuses. And would you rather have regrets? I'd rather have a regret over a failure, which is something that I can learn from.
Alrighty, Quest, is it Quest?
Quest
There
Business
you go.
Consulting.
And one
yes.
last time, how can people find you out there?
At www.questbusinessconsulting.net or on Facebook and Instagram at Quest Business Consulting.
One of Mike, as I tell you, we deal with and we work with the best and the brightest. We'd like to thank you for coming in. Shout out to Sherry Cerny out there, all the great things that she's doing down in the Tri-Cities. Shout out to your husband, Ned the Miller. Some about people in uniform. Telling you, I gave Uncle the best I had, and yeah, he hooked me up too.
Yeah.
I found me a missus there 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you said,
Mm-hmm.
you found you
A mister.
Exactly.
Yeah.
that dating service called Uncle Sam. I'd like to thank him for hooking me up. All right, we got to run. On the mic, Mike, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks now.